when Tracy and I met, I was doing radio. I was on air, doing a lot of on air stuff. And she asked me one time, as a fiance is likely to do, if you could be doing anything in the world, what would you do? What would be your dream
Great
job?
question. I love that question.
Yeah. And I said, well, to be honest with you, if I could just write my own ticket, excuse me, I would be writing things about that I'm in areas that I'm passionate about, and speaking about them, and letting the speaking support the writing and the writing support the speaking. But I would love to just make a living as a writer. And she'll tell you, she smiled and nodded, but will confess today, at the time, she thought, well, how in the world can anybody make a living doing that? How in the world are we going to basically survive as a couple if you were as a writer? How did that even happen? But eventually we jumped out of the boat, and I started making a living as a writer. And over the years we've lived a pretty good, comfortable life on the writing that I've done. A lot of that has been ghostwriting. At this point, I've written 38 published books for other people, collaborated with them on their books. I have, there's usually a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement associated with those, so I can't name names. But a lot of people that you may have heard of, a couple of New York Times nonfiction bestsellers along the way. But then it's been 23 years ago now, I took all of that marketing, writing related knowledge and moved to Dallas with my wife and kids and started an agency.
Because you guys were in Minneapolis before that, correct?
We've been in Minneapolis. We were in Oklahoma City, then Minneapolis, and then to Minneapolis to Dallas.
Okay.
And hung out a shingle, essentially, as an agency with a friend whose superpower was more of the television media buying and media production side. And my side was the writing and the content and the creative side. And we hung out a shingle and successfully for 10 years helped nonprofits, particularly faith-based nonprofits and media ministries, do their marketing. Basically speak to their constituencies, market what they needed to market, raise funds for what they needed to raise funds for through all channels. By that time, we were moving into that multi-channel, omni-channel world of the internet, where I was not only writing for print, but also writing radio specials and radio spots, television spots, and a lot of content for the digital channels.
Yeah.
As well. It's been a learning process all the way. After about 10 years, we folded up shop, and I've rolled what I was doing into a larger agency here in Dallas that has been, and it's been 12 years next month, helping some of the largest media ministries in the country communicate in the ways that they need to communicate, much of that being either marketing or direct response related writing. But a few years ago, I got the opportunity to write some of my own books. Some doors opened up for me to kind of fulfill that dream that I'd mentioned to my wife when we were engaged.
Yes.
Right. That there were some things that were in me that I wanted to get out on paper and see if they helped and encouraged other people. And so a few years ago, that journey began. About 20 years ago, I'd gotten the opportunity to write co-author a couple of books that were biographies for people, which were actually the first ever books I'd written that had my own name on the cover, which was a very exciting thing. But really, it's just been in the last few years that I've really stepped into that lifelong dream of being able to write what I'm passionate about and help other people see some things that I've been seeing. And it's been a pretty exciting couple of years.
Cool.